Hello and welcome back to Marineford TCG. My name is Joe, drink of the day is a Thatcher's Juicy Apple Cider, and welcome to the deck overview for Green Zoro. So Green Zoro is the newest and hottest deck out of OP12, easily the best new leader introduced, and has already left his mark on the Japanese meta, rising to number 2 or number 3 depending on who you ask. This deck is fairly simple, but puts on an incredible amount of pressure that can make your opponent have difficulty knowing exactly what they're supposed to be countering, especially if they're not very experienced with the matchup. So the core strategy of Zoro is making the most of your leader effect. Your leader effect, when you got 3 Don on him, if he's battled a character this turn, you can stand him back up, and he can't battle cost 7 or lower characters for the rest of the turn. So this lets you apply pressure to the board, and also their life. This means that if your opponent wants to defend their characters to establish them, then they're going to be going very low on life, and if they want to protect their life, they're not going to get a board, so you're either going to win the board, or you're just going to aggro them down, and we have tools to deal with both. In terms of trying to win the board, the best card in the deck, in my opinion, is this Shiggy 5/7 brick / trait, and that's important because our searchers, both the Hiyori, which is a tap searcher, and the Perona, which is just a classic searcher, top 5, search for the / trait or green events. We'll cover the green events later. But back to Shiggy, she's a 5/7 / character on play, rest a character with an original cost of 6, then give 3 rested Dons to your Zoro leader. The fact this even hits characters who increase their own cost, such as Hack, all 6 cost Kuzan, just this character is so goddamn overstated. It's a 2/7, the rest are 6. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. This is one of the best cards I've seen in a while, coming out of a new set. And into matchups like, say, GY Law, seeing a couple of these can just be doom for your opponent. Like, it's really, really good. In addition to that, to support her in resting characters, we've got Karina. She's a 4/1/1k activate main, rest her, rest a 4, original cost again. And so don't think that cards like Frankie can get around this by having a Don in your purple black Luffy leader. Karina doesn't care, she rests the Frankie regardless. And then again, you get 3 Dons on your Zoro leader. Funnily enough, exactly the number he needs for his effect. What a surprise. So having access to both of these means that your opponent's early game is just getting destroyed. Like, whatever they're doing on sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 Don, you're just taking it out with your leader effect while still applying pressure to their life. And if they do want to save those cards, well, they're giving you resources and then taking damage. So you can then go on a more aggressive gameplay in that game. And if they don't protect their characters, well, you can just focus on playing board and lengthening the game. And like I say, we have tools for both. Our last early gameplay is Cavendish. You know what this does. You know how insane this card can be. There are some cute technical plays you can make where, for example, if you're using a restand event on that turn, you can swing into your opponent's character first, then restand, then use Cavendish to restand 2 Don, and then put those Don on your leader, so you get the biggest swings possible. And then that can still swing into your opponent's leader twice, because you attack. And then this leader effect, it doesn't have to be the first time you restand. You can use this as your second restand of the turn to attack leader twice. So in that way, you get slightly bigger swings into your opponent if you have Cavendish on the board and are using your event. But generally, this just makes your deck so much more efficient. You know what this guy does. The final crazy card from this set is Mihawk, 8/8 blocker on play, set up to 4 Dons active. Then you cannot play a character with a cost of 7 or more for the rest of your turn. Well, Mihawk's the only one we play with a cost of 7 or more, so who cares? You're not chaining Mihawks anyway, unless you had a Cavendish, I guess, but you can't regardless. And just being able to play a 4/8 blocker, and then at very base level, you can just slam those 4 Dons on your leader, swing 9 into a dude, swing 9 into the leader, apply great pressure. But you can also use these, of course, with your characters if you've got a Chigi on the board, if you've got a Cavendish on the board, to get even more value. For closing out the game, when you're going on that aggressive playstyle, we've got 2 main cards. We've got the Dead Man's Game, which is not only a 3k counter event, but also for 4 Don, you can rest 2 in any combination of Don and characters. This is basically Hody Jones in a can. This is searchable off of both Perona and Hiyori, which is why you generally see Dead Man's Game in Zoro over Hody. There are lists with Hody, especially some lists that are choosing to play a bit of a Fishman package with like Vanderdecken, and those lists have seen some great success at major tournaments, so that is also in a way you can go. But in this simple build, we are playing the Dead Man's Game. The fact that you don't have to take a life is lovely, and this is also just not a brick, because you can use it as a 3k counter. And of course, you've got Luffy's the man who'll become the king of the pirates. 3 Don, restand your leader. If you've played Uta, if you've played Kuro, you know what this card's like. It lets you be really aggressive at the end of the game. If your opponent's down to like 0 life, you can make it even harder for them to get out of your swings, even if you don't have a board. Also, the fact that if they have 0 life, 1 blocker, you don't care because of your leader effect is really nice. The blocker doesn't do anything. It's really quite funny. Last few cards in the deck. In terms of 2Ks, we've got 4 Kuzan. This effect doesn't come up that much. It's probably the best /2K. There are some other options. You can play the X-Drake from the Bonnie side of the deck. That card's okay. It like has a decent stat line. There's also a Kawamatsu. That's just a 5/6 vanilla. You can play him. Shimotsuki Kuzan has come up for me though. I have rested 2-cost blockers with him. So he's got the spot for now. 4 Toshigi because removal exists, and green has always been pretty bad into removal. So if you can drop a Toshigi alongside a Mihawk, you can at least try and protect the Mihawk. And also 4 Nekomamushi. He's just a big guy. I've not really played this guy out that much, but it is nice to have as a last-ditch option. Final couple of cards, 4 copies of Koshiro. This is really nice for protecting your Toshigi or your Cavendish against KO. Cards like Godthread that someone might play in like a blue-purple Luffy deck. Obviously very good. In black matchups, it can protect your guy for a turn. So you at least get a swing with your guy. Not perfect, but the fact that it's a blocker as well is pretty nice. And 4 copies of Zoro. This is purely a mirror tech. Like in every other matchup, it's a vanilla with minor upside. But into the mirror, like you just can't kill this. You can't kill this. Look at our deck, right? Our entire deck, at least the characters that we want to play out and attack with, are Slash. And this guy is immune to Slash. So this in mirror is just like game winning because it constantly taxes a card every single turn. And that's just really annoying. So that's why the Zoro has made the cut. And the credit for this list does go to Kageki, who was able to win the Miyagi CS with this exact list. Very simple list. I think this is a really good place to start if you're a newer player to Zoro, or even the game in general. Zoro is a fairly simple deck with generally pretty good matchups across the board. Your dodgier matchups are things like the removal decks in Lucci, but that deck's not that common anymore. Rayleigh can be a little tough, especially if you don't see your early game. And some of the yellow decks like Yellow Kid and Enel are pretty difficult to deal with. But again, those decks are not seeing a ton of success right now. And interdecks that are pretty popular, like GP Luffy, GY Law, Blackbeard, even Blue-Purple Luffy, we're pretty reasonable. We don't have particularly bad matchups among those. In terms of turn order, you basically just want to go first with this in any matchup. If there is a deck that really benefits from going second, for example, something like Koala really wants to go second, slam a 4-on-4, you can take second away from them. Generally, you prefer first, but honestly, either curve is fine, because on evens, you can just drop Mihawk on 8, which is obviously very, very powerful. So it's quite nice that this is a deck that has its preference, but doesn't care too much if you lose the dice. In terms of what you're mulliganing for, I mean, this is like the best card in the deck. This is up there in some matchups, especially into decks like Rayleigh. If you're on evens into Rayleigh, Karina's the GOAT. Like, she's very, very powerful. So really just Toshigi, Karina, and obviously your searchers. Zoro is a fairly simple deck, but there's some interesting lines you get as well, and there's definitely room to mess around with this list if you want to. But that's it for now, just a quick introduction to the deck. Here's some games. Gonna go into Green Purple Luffy. I'm gonna be taking first off of him. Both Toshigi and Cavendish are brilliant, so we'll keep that for sure. Perona is also very nice. Perona can get all sorts of stuff. Really like first into the Green Purple Luffy. Yeah, Perona. He mulliganed as well, so you never know. He might have a slightly dodgy hand. I think we should take the DMG here. As much as Karina is quite nice. Karina is quite nice, isn't she? Drop her on. DMG is essential for winning the game, though, into them. Let's take the DMG. I'd have loved the Karina there to play that on 5, potentially. But even just Cavendish is fine. Cavendish is fine. I think just guaranteeing this, because we don't know where the other one is. The other one could be right at the bottom of the deck. And if we don't take that one, maybe we don't see one. When you're at C, you find Zoro Juro, and then you pass. What a treat. Do you want to play this? Not overly. They don't really play effect. I think I'd actually rather just swing 5-5. It's going to take. Yeah, I think I'd rather swing 5-5, get a card out of him. Establishing this Koshiro is fine, but they do play ways to rest it, like the green Zoro. which he could easily play on 4 if he doesn't want to play Zoro. I imagine he will, but you never know. You truly never know. We're waiting for him to think about counting this 5. He does, in fact, give us the Nami. That's likely the life, because he would have played that last turn. So that's interesting to know. You're going to see a swing of 5. These just get quite large quite quickly, so I'm going to give him a 1k here. And then there's going to be 4 for Zoro. Yeah. I thought as much. Now, obviously Tashigi's really nice next turn. Gets a Sanji, okay. It doesn't show a Sanji pudding. You've got to assume he has it, but you never know. You never know. We want to see double Tashigi's, really. The Zoro doesn't really do anything. I think I am going to go with the Chigi, because it's going to be harder to punish the Sanji pudding anyway. I mean, if we can get rid of this, it at least just stops his early aggression. Which is nice. So we'll go right into 6, see if he wants to give us 2 cards. Now, we can get 2 cards on a life here. That's still really good pressure. And we've developed to 5-7. Don't forget, this card's bonkers, man. This card is utterly bonkers. He's thinking about something. Gives us a Franosuke and a Nami. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. It's him down to 2. And then pass it over. Now, he's got to be careful because of our Dead Man's Game, right? We can go for game. Or go for lethal, excuse me. If he leaves like a bit of a dodgy board. Now, does he have the Sanji and Pudding? That's the big thing. That is the really, really big. If he doesn't have the Sanji and Pudding, that would explain why he was a little bit hesitant to counter that. I mean, he does have it. Okay, he's gaming. He's officially gaming. Leader effect, go to 6. Very nice. Get the Dons back. 4 more. If he has another Zoro Juro, that would be pretty powerful. We do not have another Chigi. Our play next turn is currently just Cavendish, which is fine, but not ideal. You do really want to rest this, and I'm not Dead Man's Gaming. I'm not Dead Man Gaming. That would be... Yeah, that would be too crazy for me. This is why the Karina, if we'd have had it last turn, would have been slightly better for dealing with Zoro. Yeah, we don't have a 2k, annoyingly. That could get us another Chi, though. That could get us another Chigi. That could do. We're going to say whatever this is. Yeah, sure. No trigger on that. No trigger, no way in hell. So we're on 7. Let's see if we can get another Chigi. We cannot. Okay. I don't think I really value getting any of these searches. We've already got 1 Mihawk. Do we want a second? Maybe. But I think we want to be more aggressive than that. So I might just take a 2k here. So yeah, we'll go 5 for Cavendish. Restand 2. Go 8 to Zoro Juro. Probably let this go. Yep. 7 lead. And then we'll go 8 lead. So he's got to counter this 7 at the very least. Will he counter the 8? Maybe. Who knows? He does have Don open, but he's only on 5. So unless this is DMG, he probably won't use a Giant. Indeed, goes down to 1. We did get that Sanji that we know about out of him. There's a couple 2Ks, a couple 1Ks already. 7 in hand is not the most for this deck. He's going to be looking for a second Sanji and Pudding, of course. Next turn, we can go with something like the Mihawk, slow the game down a little bit if we want to. Or we can just DMG, or restand, or both, and go for lethal. So we've got our options here. Probably Mihawk. It is probably Mihawk. 7 to 5. I think we want to counter this, and if he swings like really big into the Chigi, that's fine. So we'll give the Chigi doesn't do anything, and the funny Zoro that also doesn't really do anything. Second Sanji Pudding. Why not? Restand 4. He's going to have 6 Don, 6k lead. We'll see. We'll see how many he wants to leave up as well, because we've shown him DMG. We've shown him the DMG. It exists, it's here, it's ready to play, and you got to play around it. You know? Got to be careful. Got to be careful big time. What's he going to do for 6? Okay, he does have the third Sanji pudding. Okay. He's kind of built different, I guess. We can DMG's Don, though. 6 here. We can DMG's Don. I'm going to go 8 lead. See what he does with that. Check Gatling. Trashes Luffy Taro. Sure. Yeah, Luffy Taro not the best card there. I imagine that was one of his 2 draws. So if we want a Mihawk, we'll restand 4. Cavendish can limp swing 6 and restand 2 more. So we'll have 6 active. We could swing like 8 here, then 8 here, and leave 3 up so we can always use the DMG as counter. Even if he DMGs himself. 6 cost Luffy's very scary though. If we just go for it, we can... If we want to use the DMG for 4, it effectively costs 2 because it's limp swings. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could go 8, 8, 6, and DMG. 6 Elite 1 card. We know one of these is a brick because it's an event. So we'd have to give... You have to have 2, 1... it's kind of likely that he has it. It is kind of likely. I don't know what the optimal answer is here. I really don't. I don't think we win this turn. I really don't think we win this turn. Yeah, I just don't think we win this turn. I can't lie. Let's give 1k there. So good. There's no perfect answer here. Let's go 8 to 7, see if he's a 2k. Maybe he doesn't. He's thinking about whether or not to giant. I'd take it if he giants here. Because he goes down to 5 Don, so we'll only have 7 next turn. Which, yes, he gets 3 more from these goddamn puddings. Let's it go. I'll take that. That's definitely what's going on there. Don't you like Luna trigger my Mihawk, bro? No one's even playing Luna anymore. We're going to pass with 3 open. So it's hard for him to DMG. He can rest the Mihawk, but he can't rest enough of the Dons. We still have 2 open. Yeah, I think that's fine. But he has 3 swings on board. If he has the Angry Luffy, he has 5. He needs 1, 2, 3. He needs all of them to go through. So as soon as we can count out a 1 swing, he dies. If it's just Angry Luffy. If it's Angry Luffy and DMG, he'd have 6 for that. Restand 4. So we'll have 7. DMG costs 4, so we'll have 3 Don after that. 2 of them have got to be used to restand Angry Luffy. So he's swinging like all 7s, and we can counter one of those immediately with the Dead Man's Game. That's if he is Angry Luffy and DMG. But the fact that we're still at 3, I think, is a really nice buffer. And we've also got him to 0, so it's going to be relatively easy for us to go for lethal next turn. Which is also very good. You know? Yeah, this deck having access to DMG now and like super searchable access to DMG. Not that he's shown us it. Really makes their lethal, like planning around Green Purple Luffy's lethal, really tricky. Because there's so many different ways they can do it. Already was with the Angry Luffy. But now they have Angry Luffy, Usahachi, DMG. They've got so many resources at their disposal. It's kind of nuts. But we'll see what he opts for here. There is the DMG. We knew it was coming. Can rest the Mihawk and rest a Don. Yeah, you gotta click the button. Yeah, there it goes. So he's got 5 Don. He can restand all of those though. 7 of 5. Yeah, if he does the Don wants 2, restand 2, bring 2 back, he'll have 9 Don. So that's 6 for Angry Luffy. And then 2 of those that are active have got to be used for restanding it. So yeah, it's all 7. So we can take these 7s pretty freely because we can counter 2 of them already. So there's no problem. That's just a little Brucey bonus. Buff up our leader by 1,000. Lovely. Yeah, and he's going to leader effect, play out Angry Luffy. We know what the swings are. We can counter one of them now with just the Kazaburo, and another one with the Dead Man's Game. So it's all good. All good. Unless there's some card that I'm not thinking about. The only card that gives him enough swings is... Yeah, there it is. There's the Angry Luffy. He's so angry. Look at him go. So you can go 688. 688 is better. 100%. Now that we've got that. So we're going to go 1k there. And then he needs to go all in, I think. There's no way he lives. So yep, we're just going to take this one. Yep, he restands. We're going to take this 8. And then we'll counter out the last 8 with the... we don't need to use a Dead Man's Game, but we will. We Dead Man's Game for game, but on defense. What a treat. We'll start with 8 from Tashigi. Doesn't really matter. We've got game. Yeah, GG's. Okay, he had your 1k counter. Yeah, he had no chance to live another turn, despite all those Sanji puddings were able to get there. Just shows that when you're able to rest down their stuff and ask for cards out of GP in the early game, it's so good. GP wins so many of its games because it just sits there accumulating about 1,000 cards, and then it's impossible to kill them at the end. But when you're asking them for cards if they want to develop anything, well, it is possible to kill them at the end. The Zoro leaders are just very good into GP, which, at least from my experience so far, which feels quite nice because this deck is a menace. Got to give him to GY Law. I'm going to take first off of him. We have Tashigi. This looks like a pretty good hand to me. Yep. Cool. We'll start with the Perona, because why not? More Tashigis. You can't go wrong. This card is giga busted, man, you know? This card is absolutely giga busted. Perona of his own. Slash versus Slash. Let's see who would win. This Zoro might also be pretty reasonable. Just to exist and really annoy him. Koshiro. Luffy, sure. Cavendish. Okay. I think we'll just go 5-5. He's probably not going to attack this anyway. And we don't really need this guy on the board. So just go 5-5. We've got nothing else to do with that one anyway. I'm not playing a restand event. Yeah, we'll see if we can get the life out of him. We got the beige. Yep, we dealt damage, got a card. Pretty good turn. He can attack into our character, but his characters are very important to exist, right? So it's a little iffy. Okay, that is 5. Cavendish is coming out already. So yeah, one of these should attack into Perona. The Luffy should have attacked into Perona. 100%. That's a mistake. Because now this is tapped. Like, I'm not going to take this out, but I could have chosen to. Yeah. Absolutely. Six to 5. Absolutely will take 1. Then he's got 2 Don. Plays down the Luffy. He's Searcher Gaming. Okay, if he's playing something over the Perona, then that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Useless Kid. He's not that great into us because we can just swing large into him twice, which is quite funny. Yeah, we're going to go... Annoyingly, we are just going to eat the Koshiro this turn. Let's go 5 Don Tashigi, rest the Cavendish. 1, 2, 3. Attack the Cavendish, 8 on 6. He'll save it with the Koshiro. Yep. Restand. Swing his life, put him down to 1. Kid's not online next turn. He can play Kid in 2 turns' time. But, I mean, he can also counter this with 2 2Ks. Okay, he's going to Dead Man's Game and gives us a 1K. I'll take that any day of the week. That's insane value for us. I can't say I feel like that was the best move. But hey, I mean, I guess he's in danger if he goes to 1. And he can't really use his leader effect if that's the case. So, I get it. I do get it. Roronoa. Roronoa's going to grab a Block of Law. Pretty reasonable. Here comes said Block of Law. Pick up the Luffy or the Perona. Play out one of them again. Pick up the Luffy. Play out a beige, sure. We don't really play removal anyway, so I'm not that worried about that. We don't actually have a 2K, so I'm going to take this one. I'm not giving 2 1Ks. That would be silly. That's an X-Drake. Or just picks up the beige to play out... Doesn't play out the X-Drake. Okay, we'll give a 2K here with the Nekomamushi. Plays down a Luffy. Sure. sure thing. Kid and killer. Not just kid, but killer too. I think we're just going to keep it simple, right? We go with another Tashigi. Rest down the law and go from there. Go 8 to Cav. Block if he wants. Is what it is. We're going to get to swing this Tashigi into the Cavendish as well, so we're going to get cards regardless. Okay, we get 2k, 1k there. I don't really have anything I want to do with this Don. So just go 9 to Cavendish, probably eat the beige, indeed. Restand, and then we'll swing into life. I can take this X-Drake. Now, he can drop the Kid next turn, and he will be able to put a Don on it because of the Cavendish, which is slightly annoying. But we can just slam really large into it with the event and the leader effect, which is going to make it pretty tricky for him. Going to make it pretty tricky. Yeah, there's the Kid. He has to do this, but it's not that great, you know? Frustratingly, we still don't have a 2k, which is really not ideal. Deadman's game off the top is nice, actually. Yeah, there goes one there. We still don't have a 2k, man. That's tough. We got to counter this one. I think the time has come for you, Zoro. The Zoros are not cutting it. They're not. Picks up the Luffy. He's obviously not going to play this, but just picks up the Luffy so that he has another 1000 counter in hand. Plays down Kid and Killer with the effect of the Kid. Seems good. And what are we getting here? What are we getting with this? So we know he has the Luffy in hand. Don't really know much else, but I have kind of lost track. We might know more. We might know more. Kid and Killer, that's just been played. Blocker Law's been played. Eustace Kid's been played. He's got a Koshiro in his hand. Okay, he's got a Koshiro in his hand. That's the only thing I'm aware of right now. So, how do we want to approach this? If we want to do 3 for the Luffy's the Man, we can swing 3 11s into this. That's not bad. This is a 1k. The 1ks don't help him with 11 as well. He only has 1 blocker. I do kind of like this pressure, you know? Because like this activate main on the leader effect doesn't stop you from battling an 8 cost. Doesn't stop you. Which is really quite nice. So now he's got to decide, because we know 2 of these are 1ks, right? He's got the Luffy and the Restand Law. And I believe he still had the Koshiro as well. I can't check his trash right now. Okay, takes the block. Now, we may as well just do this, right? Give ourselves maximum options. 11 to 8 again. Do you want to save this Kid? Do you want to do it? It's an interesting call, because if you do it, I mean, I'm going to swing 11 again, and we know there's a lot of 1ks in his hand. There's the X-Drake, there's the Luffy, and there's the Restand Law. We actually don't need to do this, but it's still correct. Because we just get to destroy the Kid, and then the Tashigi can take out the Cavendish, and we just win the game from there. There's nothing he can do. Even if he has Hody, without this Cavendish, he's cooked. Yep. And honestly, the double Tashigis might have even won the game, but because his best plays like Hody has 3 Don, needs 3 swings, he'd need 5, 5, 8 to go through. It's not happening. So that is guaranteed math win. He just doesn't do anything into this deck, because you can battle him twice. It's so big. Who's there? Beige, sure. He's stalling us out a turn, but it doesn't matter. 9 to Tashigi. 9 to Tashigi, sir. Yes. How about we should save this, I think. Yes, very nice. Well played. Picks up Kid and Killer for a laugh. We'll just go 7. 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, and then we've got the restand event as well. Well played to our opponent. GY Law, really good matchup, just because you can interact with their stuff. GY Law thrives by playing loads of guys, and your opponent not being able to interact with them. That's why he kind of sucks into removal, at least before the 2-cost beige was printed. That kind of changed that a little bit. But yeah, the fact that we just rest all this stuff for the Chiggies, I mean, he kind of just gets cooked, right? And Kid doesn't do anything. But well played to our opponent. Let's move on. Got the green Zoro mirror. He's chosen first. Going second, we really want to see that 4-cost Zoro. We do have one searcher. We've also got the follow-up with the Tashigi and the Mihawks. I think we keep this hand. This hand is solid enough, especially with the Perona, to challenge a Hiyori if he's to play one. He's not to play one. Let's see if we can get the Zoro. We can get the Zoro. Putting one of our Dead Man's games to the bottom, I don't love because we only play 2. But having this Zoro is incredibly important. It's just a really good card, right? 6. I think I'm not going to need to counter to save my characters. So I think I'm going to counter out early. We'll give the Nekomamushi. He's going to drop the Koshiro. Sure. I'm going to go with the old 5-on-5, and then we'll drop the Zoro. Next turn, we'll see what he goes with. Could go with Tashigi. Goes with Smoker. Interesting. Not often they're on the Smoker anymore. We will take one. Not sure what this one Don is for exactly. I think regardless, we're probably just eating this Koshiro, right? We're probably just eating this Koshiro. Yeah, I think that's likely happening every time. That's fine though, I guess. Is there any way we can't really interact with this Smoker? Not this turn. Like, we can rest it, but he can just block. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. I guess we can put one Don on here and force him to have the 7. Yeah, we can go 8-7 into it. At least for something. Yeah, sure. I'd like a 1k, please, sir. At the very least, we get a 1k, we get his blocker, and then we get to slam face and probably deal damage. Indeed. Cool. That went better than expected. This Zoro is also just Giga immune to everything, which is really nice. It is really good. 9-7. So if we save this, this can only swing 8. So if we save this, we can also stop the banish. This swing will obviously go through. He does have this. He can swing 9 with this, which is I think we want to save this though. Yeah, I think saving our character is imperative. I do. If he wants to swing 9 into it, we'll save it again. Yeah, I'll save it again. Then we'll take this leader swing, obviously. But the fact that he can't deal with the Zoro is really nice. Roronoa off the top, not bad. Or off the life, rather. Would quite like to deal with this. Let's go with the Mihawk. Restand 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I think... Let's start with 6 from Zoro, see what he does with that. Because he might just counter this 6, because it's quite easy for him to counter. These other swings are not going to be as easy. So he might choose to counter this one. And if he does, then that's less cards, so we can potentially get rid of the Smoker more easily. He does. Right. I think I'm going to swing 9 into Smoker. Because I do want this banish gone. The banish is really annoying. Also, the Don restand is pretty good too. We do get rid of the Smoker, that's great. Alright, we'll go 7, and then we'll go 9. Cool. Got him down to 1. We should be in a position to go for game next turn. Depending on what he does, of course. Mihawk comes down, that's very reasonable. We don't have the Dead Man's game. Not in hand. 9 here. We don't have a 2k. I think we're supposed to let that go. Yeah, well, if we block, he can go 9 to Mihawk. We can defend the Mihawk with the 2 1ks. We've got 1, 2. He's got the blocker. We've got one, but the blocker can't block this. Yeah, we will defend with the 2-1 case. I think we're going for game this turn. I guess we don't need to. We've got double Mihawks now. I guess we don't need to. So we go 2 on Zoro. That swings for 8. 8 is just a really good number in general because this 1 Don is almost certainly a 3k. It could also be a waterfall though, I suppose. It could be a waterfall. Let's go 8 because he can't take the free block. He can block waterfall if he wants. Goes to 0. Okay. Let's go 10. He just concedes, yeah. How much did he have? He had a 3k with the Dead Man's Game, had a 2k and a couple of 1s. So yeah, the Zoro, just him not being able to deal with Zoro at all, was just pretty brutal. Well played to our opponent, let's move on. Gonna give him to Rayleigh. He's given a second, which I find quite interesting. And we've managed to draw 2 Kuinas and a Shigi, so we will be keeping this hand. This hand seems pretty wild to me. Sure, Shakiaki. Annoyingly, no searches. Searches are always really nice into Rayleigh, because then you can duel their searches. That is something that's important. But, what can you do? What can you do? Monkey D. Luffy, I'm sure that's coming down very soon. 5 and 5. And then what? Buff this to 4, swing 6. I don't want to give either of these Kuinas. I might just take this one. Yeah, we can give one of these little weenie guys. We could play this. Nah, we just play Kuina next turn, right? Yeah, we can do... I mean, second Luffy's scary. But we can at least deny the Boa from doing anything. And we can obviously attack the Kuina with the Shakiakis. But removing the 2 Dons of the Boa is pretty good. So we'll go with this. Rest this. 3 Dons here. Swing for 8 into Boa. Get rid of it. Restand. Put him down to 4. Pass it over. Yeah, he's going to go 2 into Kuina, obviously. We're not saving that Kuina. She did her job. We removed the 2 Dons that he gets off the Boa, which is great, as well as the Boa's swing. It also means that one of these Shakis does have to swing into the Kuina. So if he was planning to attack with both of them somehow, well, you can't anymore. We know he has the Luffy. Whether or not he has anything to play off the Luffy will be interesting. That will be interesting. There is the Luffy. Very nice. We're going to 6, so it's just a Shigi, like 9-9. Which is pretty reasonable. What events are you going to show me, sir? You've already shown me the Conqueror's Haki earlier. Yeah, Conqueror's an observation, sure. Now, who's coming out? Who's coming out of the Luffy? Sandy, that's a good one. That is a good one. Now, if we'd had something on the board like a Perona, and the Perona was to take out the Shaki, he would not... yeah, sure. He'd no longer have the 2 attached Dons to buff this power-up, because this is going to go to 6, and we can only really swing 9 into it. After the... Yeah, we'll give the Searcher here, though. And then this is going to be a 6. I'll counter out of it with the Toshigi, probably? Yeah, I think I'd... We probably don't need 2 Kazaburos. Let's ditch 1 Kazaburo. Yeah, I think that's fine. Cavendish is cool, but I think we really do want to just get rid of this Luffy, if possible. If possible. It's a big if. Let's go with this. Rest this. 1, 2, 3. Attach the final Don. Swing 9 on 6. It's a real shame it's not 9 on 4. If this Shaki... If we were able to get rid of this Shaki with like a Perona, like I say, the Don would fall off and then this would lose 2,000 power. Because he can just 2k here. Which is pretty good. And I think he should if he can. Conqueror's Haki... Okay, we get 2 Conqueror's Hakis at least. So his defense in the late game is going to be lower. And then we'll just put him down to 3. Because that's the nice thing about Zoro, right? You can pressure their board, but also just keep forcing aggression. So you're attacking him on 2 fronts. And whilst Rayleigh's offense is obviously, like, nearly unmatched, it's very, very strong. King Kong Gatling, plus 2k. And we do have to have a 7,000 power character. Well, we already have one, so... what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Bottoms that rest. 6 on that. We know he has another Luffy in his hand. We don't know if he has another target for that Luffy. And we have still seen an observation haki that he has in his hand. 6 to 5. I'll give the to Shigi. If he really wants to mulligan my Shigi, I'm not going to waste Don playing out a 2k to prevent a mulligan. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. I think next turn we're probably going with Karina. We can go with both Cavendish and Karina. Yep, shows us observation in King Kong. Absolutely. I suspect those are his only 2 events. You know? I suspect those are his only 2 events. Because the fact that he played this out, when it can only grab a Luffy or an event, I'm suspecting he doesn't have anything to play off the Luffy in his hand. That's the feeling I'm getting anyway. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. 5. He's going to swing it. He's got... This is swinging at least 6. This is probably swinging at least 6. Goodbye, Cavendish. You did me well. Gonna stay nice and healthy. Yeah, I will take this one. Mamushi's nice. I do like Mamushi. We'll give up the Kazaburo. Then does it swing 6 with Shaki? It could be. It could be. Another Luffy. Sure. Gonna show us the same events again? No. Okay. Like I thought, he didn't have a target for the Luffy. That's good to know. Right, so the Luffy's the man and the Karina, I think, are going to be the move here. If we can take out both of these, that will be really nice. If this attacks this, it makes it incredibly easy to destroy these. Because the Don falls off. He does still get to keep this. I think that's fine. We really want the Don to fall off. Yeah, nice. Rest this. Don. Then we'll go 8 to 4. So you want to give me 3 cards? Go ahead. Yeah. Restand this. I'm gonna... Nah, we never die. We'll go 9 to 4. Restand. Put him down to 2. Piling on more pressure again. Now we'll pass it over. Now again, the Shaki can attack the Karina, but it means the Shaki can't attack our leader. Because he does need to remove the Karina. The Karina's got to go. The card is just terrifying. And there is an argument there I could 2k out of that. To force another swing to go into it. But I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Because we are sort of putting ourselves in a position where we're very, very low on resources. And if he is to take out Tashigi, we don't have a lot going on. Like, these cards are not useful cards to play out. You know, the Mamushi's fine. Tashigi obviously does nothing. There's the observation haki. I suspected that might come out this turn. Looking for something to play out. Sure, just grabs another one. He's chaining. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. 6 here. Could do 4 for Kid Killer. I kind of don't mind taking it. I want to draw something to do next turn. I really want something to do next turn. Mihawk would be ideal. Yeah, we'll see. Another observation haki. Okay, so this is swinging at least 7. And yeah, if we counter that out that with the 2k, he almost certainly kills our Tashigi. And then we're just kind of not doing anything. So I think taking that is fine. We shouldn't be in too much risk, especially with this blocker. The blocker is nice. He could get us down to 0 here. Armament haki, not too worried about that one. So we've got an armament. There's the 3rd observation. Okay. Congress. He's just finding events. He's not finding any useful characters, clearly. So So he's got like Conqueror's Haki, Armament Haki, the King Kong Gatling. 9 to 7. I think we have to save this. If this is Kid Killer plus a Don, swing 8. Yeah, we can save it again. Yeah, this can't buff Kid Killer. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. If you want to buff something, you should have buffed the Sanji. 7. Yep, no. That's not happening. It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. So we'll have 6 more after that. Let's just do it now. So I think we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go 10 into Kid Killer. This should go through. He does have the Conqueror's Haki to give everything -1. But he'd need to use that. That's 3k. He'd need to give that a 2k and a 1k. Okay, he's going for it. Okay, well, we know he still has the King Kong Gatling in hand. This is currently at 6. Let's go 7 into Kid Killer. Get rid of it. I didn't think he'd be able to save that. And then we'll go 9 life, force him down to 1. And he's kind of got to win this turn. Because even just with Mihawk and Zoro, we're basically winning next turn. He's got to deal with 3 damage, but we've got a blocker. Hancock doesn't do anything, but it also doesn't cost him anything. We know he's the King Kong Gatling, which is plus 2k. Something we've got to be afraid of. But he did give up the Armament Haki there. Whiffed on the Boa. You'd love to see that. You'd love to see that. Yeah, so this must have been in his hand, I'm guessing. Okay, but it's done on the Shaki. Yeah, he has Kid Killer. That's 4. That's not helpful. He can still get us here with the rush. A rush unit could do it. Depending on what this last life is. We know he didn't have any good rush units last turn. This is coming down to the wire. This is coming down to the wire. The Rayleigh is pretty good into us. Well, that's the only unblockable one, right? So what's he going to go 7-7 with Sanji and Kid Killer? He can't deny this of being a blocker. Can he? That's not helpful. If he has Kid Killer again, he wins. Kid Killer will be game. Because the unblockable can't go on Sanji. Can only go on Rayleigh. Unless he's playing Jambay, I guess. Or like the 2k. Yeah, it's looking like Kid Killer. Damn, he did have it. Well played. He got us there. That was a really close game. That was a close game. Yeah, GG's, man. GG's. Wonder what we should have done differently. Maybe take a little earlier? But like, we didn't really whiff anything. Even that Mihawk on the last turn was a pretty good draw, you know? He just had the defense to save the... Not just to save the Kid Killer, but to protect the Kid Killer enough that we couldn't then take out the Sanji. Yeah, and with the Don open on the previous turn, I don't think we could have ever pushed for lethal. Maybe should have saved the restand event. But I felt like taking out all those guys was pretty important. Yeah, he just kind of had too many guys. We couldn't deal with it efficiently enough. Either way, that was a really close game. Let me know what you think I should have done differently. Gonna go into Kuzan, which should be one of our tougher matchups. This hand is good though. This hand is good. Nothing on 2. We'll drop the Zoro on 4. Then after that, he's going with Sengoku. Very nice. Stitches Sokka. Gonna grab a Grav Blade and an X Drake. What the? That is certainly a card you can play, sir. We'll take the first one. Yeah, we do have to be careful of the Grav Blade a little bit. That's not ideal. Just gonna swing 5. He'll probably counter this. Nope. We'll go with the Zoro. Yeah, the Grav Blade does make this a little tricky, because he can drop that next turn and really just screw our plays. 5 and 5, I'll give one of the Kurinas. We don't need 3 of them. X-Drake, sure. I think we're fine to Toshigi here. Because if he Grav Blades on 7, he's doing nothing else. And then we can Mihawk on 8, and maybe even set up a Karina behind the Mihawk, which is really strong. So I think we are actually fine to Toshigi here. Even though we know the Grav Blade's coming. We know it's coming. Let's go 8 to X-Drake. Get rid of that. I imagine. He could save it, I guess, with 2-1. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Does indeed save it. Okay, saves it with 2-2. So I'm gonna... actually swing another 7 into it. Ask for another 2k. It does have another one. Okay, that's a lot of 2k's gone, though. It's a lot of 2k's gone to save this X-Drake. We'll pass it over. Yeah, he's just going to Grav Blade. We knew that was coming. There's not a lot we can do about it. I'm going to ditch the Karina. The Karina's actually not that great. This X-Drake should swing. Yep. Okay, Toshigi off the top's nice. Actually, I say that X-Drake should swing, but should it swing? Because now we can just kind of bum this X-Drake, and it... I don't know, though. We can kind of do that anyway. It's a weird one. We'll just go with this. If he wants to Red Rock, again, he's just doing nothing. And we get to swing twice because our leader effect is just good. Right? Do you have another 2Ks? It actually does. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 2Ks already. Okay. Okay. He's kind of cooking there. But we've got him down to 2 and he's got nothing on the board. I think he needs to play Garp this turn. I don't think he can just Red Rock. Yeah, there's the Garp. That's a solid play. Sakazuki to refill the hand. Okay, this is much better than just Red Rocking. 100%. We are going to develop another Mihawk next turn. We'll also have the Shigi should he keep the X-Drake upright. We will rest it and just attack it again. Might even attack with one of these Mihawks. We'll see. Going to counter out of that, though. We can just block. We can just block. If this swings, yeah. It's okay, so you've got 1 for the Pheasant Peck. Can't have any more 2Ks. I think we're allowed to take this one. I think we are allowed to take this one. These Karinas are not cooking. I'm not thrilled with the Karinas. But what can you do? What can you do? So we're going to need to keep the DMG for next turn, I think. We probably get rid of this. Do we even need the Chigi, though, this turn? We don't really need the Chigi. We could go with Cavendish this turn. Let's deploy this. Restand 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go with Cavendish for 5. We will still be able to swing 8-8. Which I think is good enough. And then we've got the Cav on the board. I don't think we have the guts to go for game next turn, you know? Okay, it does give us 2 2Ks there. How many 2Ks has man got? What the? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2Ks gone. Thuru, Zephyr, Hina. No interesting ones. No like Gions, anything like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think we can attack this. Definitely has the event, but if... Okay, lets it go. Works for me. Let's go 8 to 5. Cool, pass it over. So we've got the DMG. It's very nice. If he just has 1 blocker, we can just go with the Queener. Red Rock's our Garp. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but we don't get much choice in them. Sorry, not our Garp, our Mihawk. Sanji. Yeah, we haven't seen the 3-cost Toshigi this game, so it's not like I can play around it. It's not like I can play around it. Sakazuki goes here. I thought he would swing into this. Yeah, we'll take that. There's the Toshigi. A little bit too late, my friend. A little bit too late. Yeah, this can do 10. We can get out of a 10. Just about. I don't want him to swing here, so we'll take. No triggers. Toshigi, what are you looking for? He's got another 2. This guy in the 2Ks, man. He's got so many goddamn 2Ks. It's crazy. Sengoku. Then what will we swing in? Okay, no Don open. Damn, okay. We'll just counter out of this with the Kuzaburo. And I guess Tashigi, doesn't really matter. Double DMG's nothing to do with him, and yeah, he just leaves. He was in fact cooked. Weird game against the Kuzan. Normally this is a lot tougher. I think the fact that we got evens, and sort of, we didn't force him to use the Grav Blade, but we made it very enticing to use the Grav Blade, and then we're able to follow up with the Mihawk into another Mihawk, which was kind of ridiculous. We got our guys down before he did. He also protected that X-Drake a lot. I don't know if that was the move, but maybe. Maybe. This card's kind of weird in the deck. I'm not a huge fan of it. Either way, well played to your opponent. Let's move on. So thank you for watching. Are you going to be playing Zoro? I'll probably be playing a good bit of Zoro on the channel. I do enjoy this deck. It's kind of a... It's kind of a bit of a fun brain-off type deck, which, you know, sometimes just playing the Giga Brain decks all the time, things like GY Law or whatever, that's not always fun. Sometimes it's nice to just chill out and slam face. And Zoro is really good for playing that. If you are a new player and you can afford Cavendishes, I definitely recommend this deck to new players. Price of Cavendishes aside, and there is not really good replacement for this, unfortunately, that I can recommend. Price of that aside, this deck should be quite cheap. Everything else is like, the Chigis are like a few bucks, and the Mihawks and Pronas and most of the rest of the deck is from the new set. So there's not much you're going to need to buy in advance. It's only really Cavendish, and like I say, he is not really replaceable. But yeah, if you can get over that price hurdle, I'd definitely recommend this to both newer and experienced players. And depending on what happens with the bans, this card could get even better, because whilst Blue Purple Luffy's not a bad matchup, it's not a great matchup either. It's pretty close. So if that deck gets banned, who knows what's going to happen. If we start seeing, I don't know, maybe decks like Kobe come back, I mean, this deck should be pretty good into Kobe. They don't love having to defend their characters. Certainly not as well as their life, because they are quite flimsy. Also, other decks like Shanks. Shanks is very heavily walled out of the format by Blue Purple Luffy at the minute. And this deck is really not that bad into Shanks, because, like, yeah, they can debuff your guy, but they need to stack those debuffs to get much value. And if you can control their board enough in the early game, they're going to struggle to do that. But either way, thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed the games, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.